Hey guys, this is a request. I'm just going to make a quick video on my AutoTune settings. This is before the logs, my last video. This is how I've set up my AutoTune. Understand that I've been running AutoTune for a while, so my settings do not allow as much change. If you're just starting, you probably want to open it up and allow more change. And another thing is, I've been spending some time on the Woolich site reading their help on AutoTune just because it's been a while, looking for what some of these settings mean so I could better understanding. And I encourage you to go to Woolich's site and search their support and just read up on this, because they actually cover a lot of stuff that I don't remember they covered. And if I don't know what a setting means, I'll tell you I don't know, I'll just skip it. Some of the things I haven't really been able to find and don't know specifically, so I don't want to give bad information. So with that said, I'm just going to go over what I do have set. So normally I do a screen capture, but it's actually, this is easier to do. It saves editing time. And I mean, there's really, I think we can see what we need to see here. I'm just going to start with, let's see, AutoTune. All right, so these are the settings I have for AutoTune. I know that should show up on the screen. And so here's my data filters. I filter out everything before 50 degrees Celsius because I want the engine to be hot, how I actually will run it. And as the engine's warming up, the fuel multiplier to richen it while it's cold, and it slowly takes fuel out. The IAP may be influencing it, or sorry, the inlet air temperature might be influencing the fueling because it hasn't come up to ambient or it's still cold. So I set it at 50 degrees to make sure I'm getting hot data. I do not filter out gear and neutral data, and I do that because when I'm sitting there idling when it's hot, I'm actually filling in the IAP maps for idle for whatever my target AFR is. So I do not filter that out. I do filter out clutch data. That is something that I just started filtering out, and when I'm shifting gears or I'm pulling the clutch or I'm sitting there idling, what I found is that on the new Suzuki, what happens is as you go to let off in the clutch, it has that assist, which actually messes it up or messes up the tuning there or the reading. So I've started filtering out clutch in. Filter out 0 RPM data. If it's not running, if it's slow, it's turned off or whatever, then don't worry about reading it. I filter out all readings less than or greater than 11, because if it's less than 11, it's probably not accurate at this point anyway, or something else is going on. I don't want to adjust based off of 11, and I don't go read greater than 17 for the same reasons. If it's higher than 17, it's probably not a good reading or something else is going on. I don't have a switch. I filter by power mode, which on this bike I have 3 modes, so I definitely filter by power mode. One that just helps to keep it organized. I do not filter out in eco mode, which the ZX10 has an eco mode. You see it flashing on the dash. Some people thought it skewed the readings, and then later they said it didn't, but I leave it in. All right, so the Iap Deceleration Filter, I just started checking that because what I found is when I close the throttle and I'm decelerating, I'm influencing the cells with a closed throttle in the high map or high vacuum areas, and I kept getting richer and richer and richer, and I finally had a problem where I think I was actually washing cylinder walls because it was so rich in that area. So I leaned it back out and it seemed to help. All right, same over here, minimum average, I matched over there. Percent change, actually I wanted to change this to 5 for my setting. All right, so 10 is like, basically it says that that's the max that it will allow the AutoTune to change in percent. When you first start auto-tuning, 10 might be a good number, but as it gets closer, you want to lower that percent and cap it, because if your tune's close, you shouldn't be seeing 10% changes anyway. And what you'll do is you'll end up hunting around the AFR target Minimum cell data logs is how many times it actually captured that before it applies it in that cell. AutoTune strength. This is another one that I lower because my tune is close. And the closer my tune is, the less strength I want, and the more I don't want big changes taking place, because at this point my tune does not require big changes. Smoothing, I do pre-smoothing, and my smoothing strength is 4 for the same reasons. I don't want a lot of changes at this point. If you're new, I think I would actually max these out for a few runs, and then as it gets closer, just slowly bring them down. And if you start seeing that you're hunting around your target AFR, lower them. All right, so I did some reading on this one, the Iap to TPS transition, and if I understand it correctly, it doesn't do anything with the ECU, actual changing, but it helps, it affects the auto-tune, the way it blends the TPS to IAP map up to 30%. So essentially it helps that blend and transition from manifold vacuum to TPS or alpha N control. I like to keep it at 30% just to help smooth. It's a smoother transition, and that's why I do it. Exhaust gas offset, that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna let you see my readings. My header pipe diameter for a leader bike, 41.5, 41 is probably close enough. You actually have to measure. Some people measure all 4, average them out, the length to get this distance. I measure 1 because I just don't see where it, well, I don't want to talk about that. People have their opinion on it. I just think you take enough logs around a certain cell, and the way it interpolates, eventually that cell's going to be right. All right, so this is where you set up your 0 volts and 5 volts for the actual wideband that you're using. I use the one provided by Woolich. It comes preset. I don't touch it. And actually, I don't know what this one does. It actually looks like it's for individual cylinder tuning, or maybe this is to set which AFR, like if you're reading on cylinder 1. I don't know. I need to ask about this. I haven't found any literature. But this is something new added, and it's actually it's very interesting. I'm not really sure what it does. I do know that it appears to be individual cylinder tuning, or apply AFR1 to these cylinders for them. But I'll have to ask about what this actually does. All right, so that's just quick. It's 8 minutes. Sorry it took so long, but I do want to cover. I think I put a lot of good information in there. Hopefully it helps some of the new people on that. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, follow me, do whatever. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you later.